Good morning. Today is Monday, November 16th. I want to start out with the self-start. And the self-start today was based upon your test. And there was a lot of you on your test that struggled with this, so we want to go over it. Which number is smaller, 0.3 or 0.28? 0.3 is the same thing as 0.30. So really it's asking which is smaller, 30 or 28. Well, 30 is bigger than 28. A lot of you perceive this as a 3. To be a 3, it would be 0.03. 0.3 is 30. Be aware of that. Watch out for that. We saw that a lot on your test, where a lot of you missed that because you thought this was a 3 or whatever the equivalent number was on your test, as opposed to thinking of it as a 30. Same thing, 0.81 versus 0.9. This is 9D. 90, 0.8, 0.9. 9 is bigger than 8. 0.05 versus 0.4. 0.4. 4 is bigger. Okay, 0.7, 0.67. 0.7 versus 0.67. This is 7. This is 6. 7 is bigger. 0.11 or 0.2. Again, this is 20. 11 versus 20. 20 is bigger. Okay, watch out for that. Be aware of it. Be cautious with it. Okay, there's today's quote. Reminder that trimester ends. Get labor in. If you're missing any tests or anything, get those in. They are available in Canvas. Today we're going to be going over rules for adding and subtracting integers. So vocabulary. Integers are whole numbers which can be positive or negative. Opposites are the same distance from 0. Zero pairs are when two things create a 0, like a positive 5 and a negative 5 is a 0 pair. Additive inverse is opposites. So if you're adding 5, the opposite of adding 5 is subtracting 5. Absolute values is a distance from 0. And if it asks for the word difference, that means subtract. Okay, so let's look at some problems. The first one we look at is 5 plus negative 2. We're actually going to jump and not look at that one. We're going to jump over to this one here. Okay. First big rule with integers is same sign, add, and keep. So if you were looking at integers and they are both positive, your answer will be positive. You just straight up add them. 2 plus 5 is 7. 28 plus 32 is 60. And 54 and 17 make 71. It's just straight up add them. If you have two negative numbers, you're going to do the same thing. Your answer will always be negative. Same sign, you're going to add them and keep the negative. So negative 2 plus negative 5 is negative 7. Negative 28 plus negative 32, we add the 28 and the 32, which gives us 60, and we keep that negative. We add the 54 and the 17, which gives us 71, and we keep the negative. If they are both positive, we add them together. If they are both negative, we add them together. We keep the sign. If they're positive, it stays positive. If it's negative, it stays negative. Okay, if they have different signs, we're going to subtract. Now to subtract, I always put the bigger one on top. So negative 2 and 5, 5 is bigger. 5 minus 2 is 3. Now which one's bigger, the negative or the positive? The positive is bigger, so my answer is positive. Negative 28 and 32, 32 goes on top because it's bigger, minus 28 is 4, which one's bigger, 28 or 32? 32 is bigger and it's positive, so my answer is positive. 54 and 17, 54 goes on top because it's bigger, 54 minus 17 is 37. But the 54 is bigger and it's negative, so my answer is negative. Whichever one is bigger, that's the one that lives. So different signs, one's positive, one's negative. We subtract them and take the sign of the larger one. Same thing here, different signs, one's positive, one's negative, so we subtract. But this time, the bigger one is the negative 5, so my answer is a negative 3. 28 plus negative 32. This time my answer is a 4, but because the 32 is negative, my answer is negative. And 54 minus 17 is still 37, but because 54 is positive, the answer is positive 37. Take the sign of the larger one. Okay, now the last one was probably the one we missed the most on our test when we did this unit. And it's two negatives right next to each other means you add. So two negatives make a positive. And we can either think of it as like a giant plus sign here with the parentheses, or you can think of it as 2, change the minus to a plus, change the negative to a positive. And when you change the negative to a positive, you get a 7. So same thing here, minus a negative is a plus. 28 plus 32, they're both positive. Go ahead and add them together. 28 plus 32 is 60. 54 minus negative 17, 54 minus to a plus, negative to a positive. 54 plus 17 is 71. And I'm getting that from the numbers up here. I knew what that was. Okay. Next one, negative 2 minus negative 5. This negative 2 stays. The minus becomes a plus, the negative becomes a positive. So now I have negative 2 plus 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. Negative 28 minus a negative 32. Minus a negative is a plus. 32 minus 28 is 4. Negative 54, giant plus sign this time. Either way, it doesn't matter. You can think of it as minus becomes a plus, minus, change that. Or you can think of it as just a giant plus sign. Negative 54 plus 17 is 37. Bigger one's negative, answer is negative 37. Okay, as we're looking at this, be cautious with it, but you can do it. I know you can. You've got this. If you have any questions or need help, do not hesitate to reach out, and have the best day ever. Know that you're missed.